In the vast expanse of the Orion Arm, the research vessel Curiosity drifted silently through the cosmic ballet of stars and nebulae. Captain Olivia Reeves stood at the helm, her eyes fixed on the holographic display showing their current position in the Zeta Reticuli system. The ship's mission was simple: collect data on the unusual gravitational anomalies in the region and return to Earth for analysis. "Captain, we're picking up an unidentified vessel on long-range scanners," reported Lieutenant Jace Hawkins, his fingers dancing across the sensor array. Olivia frowned. This far out, encountering other ships was rare. "Can you identify it, Lieutenant?" Before Jace could respond, the ship's AI, designation Nova, chimed in. "Captain, the vessel matches no known configurations in our database. Its energy signature suggests advanced propulsion systems beyond current Terran capabilities." The bridge crew exchanged uneasy glances. First contact protocols were clear, but the reality of encountering an alien species for the first time sent a ripple of excitement and fear through the ship. "Open a channel, standard greeting package," Olivia ordered, straightening her uniform. Moments passed in tense silence before the view screen flickered to life. The alien that appeared was unlike anything they had imagined. Its body seemed to shimmer and shift, as if made of living mercury. Multiple eyes blinked in an unsettling rhythm across what they assumed was its face. "Greetings," Olivia began, her voice steady despite her racing heart. "I am Captain Olivia Reeves of the Earth research vessel Curiosity. We come in peace and seek to establish friendly relations." The alien's response came not in words, but in a series of melodic tones that reverberated through the ship's hull. Nova's translation matrix worked furiously to decipher the meaning. "They identify themselves as the Zarketh," Nova announced. They're demanding we surrender our vessel and crew for examination." Olivia's blood ran cold. "Clarify our peaceful intentions, Nova. Explain that we cannot comply with their demand." The exchange continued for several tense minutes, but it quickly became clear that diplomacy was failing. The Zarketh ship began to power up weapon systems that dwarfed anything in the Curiosity's arsenal. "All hands, battle stations," Olivia commanded, even as she knew their chances were slim. "Jace, get a distress signal to Earth. Nova, initiate the Pandora Protocol." The Curiosity shuddered as the first volley from the Zarketh ship struck their shields. Alarms blared throughout the vessel as systems began to fail. "Shields at 30% and falling," Jace reported, his voice tight with fear and determination. "Distress signal away, but I don't know if it got through their jamming field." Olivia gripped the arms of her command chair, her mind racing through options. They couldn't outrun the alien vessel, and their weapons were useless against its advanced shielding. There was only one choice left. "Nova, status of the Pandora Protocol," she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. "Pandora Protocol is primed and ready, Captain. Awaiting final authorization." Olivia closed her eyes, the weight of her decision pressing down on her. The Pandora Protocol was Earth's ultimate failsafe, a last resort weapon that would ensure no hostile force could capture their technology or crew. It would also mean their certain death. "Captain, they're preparing to board." Jace's panicked voice cut through her thoughts. Olivia's eyes snapped open, filled with a fierce determination. "Nova, execute Pandora Protocol. Authorization Reeves Omega 990. Understood, Captain. It has been an honor serving with you. Pandora Protocol initiating in 3, 2, 1. A blinding light engulfed the Curiosity, followed by an explosion that rippled through space-time itself. In an instant, both the human vessel and the Zarketh ship vanished, leaving behind only a rapidly dissipating energy signature and a lone escape pod hurtling towards the nearest habitable planet. As the pod streaked through space, its sole occupant, a young ensign named Zara Chen, clutched a data core to her chest. Tears streamed down her face as she watched the last moments of the Curiosity play out on the pod's small view screen. She knew that the information she carried would change the course of human history forever. Light years away, on Earth, in the depths of the Terran Defense Force headquarters, a red alert began to sound. Admiral Marcus Blackwood, his face etched with lines of worry, stared at the incoming transmission. The message was garbled, incomplete, but its implications were clear. Humanity had just suffered its first casualties in an interstellar war they never knew was coming. As the gravity of the situation settled over the command center, Admiral Blackwood's voice cut through the chaos with steely resolve. Ladies and gentlemen, as of this moment, we are at war. May whatever gods exist have mercy on us all, because it's clear our new enemies won't. The wheels of Earth's war machine began to turn, slowly at first, but with increasing momentum. Across the planet, hidden facilities hummed to life, revealing weapons and technologies long kept secret from the public and the wider galactic community. The death of Captain Olivia Reeves and her crew would not go unanswered. Humanity was about to show the galaxy why they had always been feared, even when they smiled and offered peace. The spark had been lit. The inferno was about to begin. The news of Captain Amanda Stone's death spread across the galaxy like a supernova, leaving stunned silence in its wake. As the dust settled from the initial attack, the true magnitude of the Crimson Nebula pirates' mistake began to dawn on the galactic community. Ambassador Klex Brightheart found himself in an emergency session of the Galactic Council, watching as the most powerful beings in the known universe struggled to comprehend the situation. The chamber, usually a cacophony of voices and opinions, was unnaturally quiet. High Counselor Xena Starweaver's crystalline form pulsed with worried hues as she addressed the assembly. We have received word from Earth. Their response is concerning. A holographic display flickered to life in the center of the chamber, showing a simple text message: diplomatic relations temporarily suspended pending proportional response to acts of piracy against Earth citizens. Normal operations will resume once justice has been served. The chamber erupted into chaos. Representatives from various species shouted questions and demands, their voices overlapping in a crescendo of panic. Silence. Starweaver's voice cut through the noise. Ambassador Brightheart, you've studied human history. What can we expect? Klex felt all eyes turn to him. He took a deep breath, his forearms gesturing for calm. Esteemed colleagues, we are about to witness something the galaxy has never seen before. Humans have a concept called awakening a sleeping giant. I'm afraid the Crimson Nebula pirates have done just that. He pulled up historical data on his personal device, projecting images of Earth's past conflicts. Humans have a long history of warfare, but also of restraint. They've been peaceful not because they couldn't fight, but because they chose not to. Now, that choice has been taken from them. The council watched in stunned silence as Klex displayed footage of ancient human battles, advanced weaponry, and military strategies that made even the most warlike species in the room shift uncomfortably. But they're so primitive, protested Ambassador Trill Stardancer, her bioluminescent tentacles flickering with confusion. Klex laughed, a sound that held no humor. Primitive? My dear colleague, that's exactly what they wanted us to think. While we've been patting ourselves on the back for our advanced technology, humans have been quietly preparing for a day they hoped would never come. As if on cue, reports began flooding in from across the galaxy. Human colonies were going dark, their communication channels closed. Trade routes were being suspended. Military installations that no one even knew existed were suddenly lighting up on long-range scans. They're mobilizing, Klex explained, his voice filled with a mix of awe and trepidation. Every human ship, every colony, every citizen is being called back. They're preparing for war. The council chamber fell into stunned silence once more, broken only by the constant stream of incoming data. Klex watched as his fellow diplomats began to realize the gravity of the situation. But surely they can't hope to stand against the combined might of the galaxy, someone in the back of the chamber called out. Klex's expression turned grim. That's just it. They don't have to. The Crimson Nebula pirates acted alone, outside of any government sanction. As far as Earth is concerned, this is a police action, not a war. And they intend to show the galaxy exactly why they put warning labels on everything. As the implications sank in, High Counselor Starweaver turned to Klex. What do you suggest we do, Ambassador? Klex looked around the room, meeting the eyes, or sensory organs, of each representative. We stay out of their way. We watch, we learn, and we pray to whatever gods we believe in that we never give humans a reason to turn their full might against us. Because what we're about to witness is just a fraction of what they're capable of. As the council session adjourned, Klex couldn't help but feel a mix of excitement and dread. The galaxy was about to learn a valuable lesson, and he had a front-row seat to the show. Humanity was awake, and the Crimson Nebula pirates were about to discover why poking a sleeping bear was never a good idea. The silence that had fallen over the galaxy in the wake of humanity's mobilization was shattered by the first strike. It came without warning, leaving even the most advanced civilizations stunned by its precision and power. The Crimson Nebula pirates' primary base on Xerxes 7 vanished. Not destroyed, not bombarded, simply gone, as if plucked from the planet's surface by an unseen hand. The galactic community erupted into chaos as the news spread. In the grand chamber of the Galactic Council, Ambassador Klex Brightheart watched with barely concealed amusement as his colleagues lost their collective minds. Impossible, screeched Representative Blip of the Silicon Consciousness, their holographic form flickering anxiously. Our sensors showed no approaching ships, no energy signatures, no warning. Klex couldn't help but laugh. No warning. What exactly did you think proportional response meant? A strongly worded letter. As if on cue, General Olivia Chen of the Earth Defense Force appeared simultaneously in every major government facility across the galaxy. Her hologram bypassed the most sophisticated security systems as if they were children's toys. Greetings, she said, her black uniform crisp and professional. Earth has begun operations to address recent acts of piracy against our citizens. We appreciate your cooperation in staying clear of designated combat zones. The chamber fell silent as every data screen lit up with a map showing dozens of red zones scattered across known space. Each area had a scheduled date and time listed beside it. For transparency, General Chen continued, her expression neutral but somehow terrifying, we will be systematically eliminating pirate threats in the marked areas according to the posted schedule. Any non-hostile vessels are advised to maintain a minimum safe distance of 2 light-years from these zones during operations. The Council watched in stunned silence as the first recording from Xerxes 7 played. A human vessel, unlike anything they had seen before, simply appeared in orbit. No hyperspace window, no warning, it just materialized. The ship was angular, painted in a material that seemed to drink in light, bristling with weapons that defied categorization. That's not possible, whispered Techmaster Prime of the Silicon Consciousness. Their stealth technology was assessed at level 2. This is at least level 8. Klex smirked. Funny thing about humans. They tend to keep their best toys hidden until they need them. The next few hours were a masterclass in military precision. Right on schedule, at the exact times listed, human ships would appear near pirate installations. Some bases surrendered immediately, their occupants choosing to keep their molecules arranged in their preferred configuration. Those who resisted, well, the cleanup crews were still trying to figure out what happened to them. But their weapons, protested Ambassador Quantum Thought Pattern 7, the energy readings are off the charts. They're using technology that shouldn't exist. Klex couldn't help himself. Shouldn't exist, or shouldn't exist in human hands. Because I'm starting to think we made some rather dangerous assumptions about our friends from Earth. The human ground forces were even more impressive. Teams of soldiers in powered armor had made the best combat suits look like leisure wear moved with impossible speed, their weapons cutting through the pirates' most advanced shields like they weren't even there. One particular team, led by Commander Zara Rodriguez, became something of a legend within hours. Surveillance footage showed them infiltrating a pirate stronghold on Nebula's edge, a facility that had repelled full military assaults from 3 different species. Time elapsed from insertion to total control, 6 minutes and 23 seconds. "This can't be right," muttered High Counselor Star Weaver, her crystalline form flickering with distress. The humans, they were peaceful. They were focused on science and exploration. They were peaceful, Klex corrected, because they chose to be. Kind of like how a fusion reactor is peaceful until you remove the containment fields. Director Nadia Patel of Earth Intelligence made that point crystal clear in her only public statement. "For those wondering about our sudden military capability, I should point out that Earth has been at peace not because we couldn't fight, but because we preferred not to. Recent events have necessitated a change in policy." By the end of the first day, 30% of the Crimson Nebula's operations had been neutralized. The humans didn't just destroy their targets, they systematically dismantled them. Each strike recovered stolen goods, freed slaves, and secured evidence of other criminal operations. It was like watching a surgeon remove a tumor, precise and methodical. The most terrifying part? The humans were clearly still holding back. The best analysts estimated they were using maybe 15% of their actual military capacity, just enough to make their point without triggering a wider conflict. As the galactic community watched in awe and fear, one thing became abundantly clear: humanity had awoken, and the stars themselves trembled at their wrath. The dust settled on the human military campaign against the Crimson Nebula pirates, but the ripples of their actions continued to spread across the galaxy. Ambassador Klex Brightheart found himself in high demand, his insights into human nature suddenly invaluable to a galactic community still reeling from the revelation of Earth's true capabilities. "So, let me get this straight," said Counselor ZYX of the Andromeda Collective, his tentacles twitching nervously. "The humans just went back to normal." Klex leaned back in his hover chair, enjoying the rare feeling of being the smartest being in the room. "Define normal, Counselor. If by normal you mean resuming their scientific missions, reopening trade routes, and generally being helpful neighbors, then yes. But make no mistake, everything has changed." The council chamber, once a place of heated debates and political maneuvering, had taken on the atmosphere of a classroom. Species that had previously dismissed humans as quaint primitives and now hung on every word about Earth's history and culture. "But how can we trust them?" asked Ambassador Vrel of the Silicon Consciousness, their holographic form flickering with anxiety. "If they hid this level of military prowess, what else are they hiding?" Klex couldn't help but laugh. "Trust them? My dear Ambassador, the humans never lied to us. We just never bothered to read the fine print." He pulled up a holographic display showing a standard human trade agreement. "See this clause here? All technology shared is for peaceful purposes only and may not be reverse-engineered for military applications. We all assumed it was to protect their intellectual property. In reality, it was to prevent us from understanding the full scope of their capabilities." The assembled diplomats murmured uneasily. The idea that they had been outmaneuvered not through deception, but through their own assumptions and laziness, was a bitter pill to swallow. "But surely," interjected High Counselor Star Weaver, her crystalline form pulsing with worried hues, "surely they must see the need for greater transparency now. After such a display of force." Klex's expression turned serious. "Transparency? Oh, they're being transparent all right. Humans have a saying, speak softly and carry a big stick. We've just been given a very clear look at the size of their stick. The message is simple: don't start trouble, and there won't be any trouble." As if on cue, a notification chimed. Earth had just submitted a proposal for a new galactic peacekeeping force, offering to share some of their non-critical defense technologies with other species. "Non-critical," muttered Techmaster Prime. "If what we saw was non-critical, I shudder to think what they consider essential." Klex nodded sagely. "That's precisely the point. The humans are masters of deterrence. They've shown us enough to make us think twice about crossing them, while still keeping their true capabilities hidden. It's admirable, really. The Council spent the next several cycles debating the human proposal, analyzing every word for hidden meanings and potential threats. In the end, they accepted. Not out of trust or friendship, but out of a newfound respect tinged with a healthy dose of fear. As the galaxy adjusted to this new reality, Klex found himself reflecting on the strange and wonderful species that had so thoroughly upended the cosmic order. Humans, with their contradictory nature, capable of both great violence and profound kindness, of technological marvels and simple pleasures. He thought of Captain Amanda Stone, whose death had sparked this revolution. In the end, her sacrifice had not only brought justice but had reshaped the very fabric of galactic society. Humans, it seemed, had a knack for turning tragedy into transformation. As Klex prepared for yet another briefing on human culture and history, he couldn't help but smile. The galaxy had received a wake-up call, and he had a front-row seat to whatever came next. One thing was certain, life among the stars would never be the same again. The cycles that followed the Crimson Nebula incident were marked by a galaxy-wide obsession with all things human. Species that had once dismissed Earth culture as primitive now clamored for human art, literature, and philosophy. The irony wasn't lost on Ambassador Klex's bright heart. Fascinating, isn't it? He mused to his aide, Zara, as they watched a group of Zinthi diplomats eagerly discussing a human concept called pizza. A few rotations ago, they thought humans were barely out of the Stone Age. Now they're treating every human creation like it's divinely inspired. Zara, her bioluminescent patterns shifting in amusement, nodded. It's as if the entire galaxy is trying to understand humans by osmosis. Did you hear about the latest trend? Species are modifying their ships to include warning labels, just like the humans do. Klex chuckled. Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, I suppose. Though I doubt many of them understand the true significance of those labels. Their conversation was interrupted by an urgent message. Earth had announced its intention to host a galactic cultural exchange festival, inviting representatives from every known species to visit their homeworld. The response was immediate and overwhelming. Species that had never shown interest in interstellar travel were suddenly scrambling to send delegations. The Galactic Council found itself flooded with requests for information on human customs and etiquette. This is unprecedented, declared High Counselor Starweaver during an emergency session. Never in our history has there been such interest in a single world. Klex, now officially the Special Advisor on Human Affairs, cleared his throat. If I may, Counselor, I believe this is precisely what the humans intended. They've managed to turn the galaxy's fear into fascination. Explain, demanded Ambassador Vrel, their silicon circuits humming with curiosity. It's simple psychology, Klex began, warming to his subject. The humans have shown us their strength, yes, but now they're showing us their culture, their art, their way of life. They're making themselves relatable, understandable. It's much harder to fear something you understand. The council chamber buzzed with discussion. Some saw the cultural festival as a trap, a way for humans to gather intelligence on other species. Others viewed it as a genuine attempt at fostering galactic unity. Either way, Klex concluded, I strongly advise that we all participate. The humans have opened their doors. It would be unwise to refuse the invitation. As preparations for the festival began, Klex found himself inundated with questions about human behavior. Species that had never given Earth a second thought were now desperate to make a good impression. No, Ambassador ZYX, humans do not consider it a compliment to be told their offspring would make a delicious meal, Klex explained patiently for what felt like the 1000th time. And please, for the love of all that's sacred, do not attempt to mate with them unless explicitly invited to do so. The day of the festival arrived, and the solar system was filled with ships from across the galaxy. Earth's orbital stations, once hidden and heavily armed, now welcomed visitors with open arms and colorful banners. As Klex's shuttle descended towards the blue-green world, he couldn't help but feel a sense of anticipation. The humans had surprised them all once before. What new revelations would this festival bring? The answer, as it turned out, was both simpler and more profound than anyone could have imagined. The humans didn't showcase their advanced technology or military might. Instead, they shared their music, their food, their stories. They invited aliens to experience the simple joys of a sunset, the taste of ice cream, the rhythm of a dance. "I don't understand," confessed Techmaster Prime, looking bewildered as a group of human children taught him how to fly a kite. "Where are the weapons? The space-folding technology?" Klex, sipping something the humans called lemonade, smiled. "This is their greatest technology, my friend. The ability to find joy in simple things, to create beauty from nothing, to connect across the barriers of species and culture. This is what makes humans truly formidable." As the festival continued, Klex watched as barriers broke down and understanding grew. He saw Xinthi diplomats laughing at human jokes, silicon consciousness units attempting human dances, and even the notoriously xenophobic Vrel engaging in passionate debates about human philosophy. In the end, the galaxy didn't leave Earth with a greater fear of human military might. They left with a deeper appreciation for human creativity, resilience, and spirit. And perhaps, Klex reflected, that was the most powerful deterrent of all. As the cultural festival on Earth drew to a close, the galaxy found itself irrevocably changed. The fear and suspicion that had followed the Crimson Nebula incident had transformed into something new: respect, curiosity, and for many, genuine admiration. Ambassador Klex Brightheart stood on the observation deck of the Galactic Council's flagship, watching as the last of the alien vessels departed Earth's orbit. Beside him, High Counselor Starweaver's crystalline form shimmered with a mix of emotions. "I must admit, Ambassador," she said, her voice tinged with awe, "I had my doubts about this festival. But the humans, they've surprised us once again." Klex nodded, a smile playing at the corners of his mouth. "That, Counselor, is perhaps the most human trait of all, their ability to constantly surprise." As they watched, a small fleet of Earth ships moved into formation, escorting the alien vessels to the edge of the solar system. It was a gesture of goodwill, but also a subtle reminder of human capabilities. Soft words and a big stick, indeed. "What happens now?" Starweaver asked, her crystalline structure pulsing with uncertainty. Klex turned to face her, his expression serious. "Now, Counselor, we adapt. The galaxy as we knew it no longer exists. Humanity has changed the game, and we must change with it." In the cycles that followed, the ripples of Earth's revelation spread far and wide. Trade agreements were rewritten, defense pacts were forged, and cultural exchange programs flourished. Species that had once viewed each other with suspicion now found common ground in their shared fascination with humanity. The humans, for their part, seemed to take it all in stride. They continued their scientific missions, pushed the boundaries of known space, and welcomed aliens to their worlds with open arms. But there was a new undercurrent to their interactions, a quiet confidence that spoke volumes. Klex found himself busier than ever, fielding requests from across the galaxy for insights into human nature. He watched with amusement as alien diplomats attempted to incorporate human idioms into their speech, often with hilarious results. "No, Ambassador ZYX," he explained patiently, "when humans say, 'break a leg,' they don't actually want you to injure yourself. It's an expression of good luck." But beneath the cultural exchanges and diplomatic niceties, a more profound shift was taking place. Species that had long considered themselves superior were now looking to humanity for inspiration. The humans' ability to balance technological advancement with emotional intelligence, their capacity for both great violence and profound compassion, became the subject of intense study and debate. As the cycles passed, a new galactic order began to emerge. Earth, once dismissed as a backwater world, now stood at the center of a web of alliances and partnerships. Human innovations in technology, medicine, and social organization spread across the stars, changing lives on countless worlds. But perhaps the most significant change was in how the galaxy viewed itself. The human concept of unity in diversity, of strength through cooperation, began to take root. Species that had been locked in ancient rivalries found themselves working together on human-led projects, discovering common ground they never knew existed. Klex, watching it all unfold, couldn't help but feel a sense of pride. He had seen the potential in humanity from the beginning, had argued for their inclusion in galactic affairs when others dismissed them. Now, his faith had been vindicated in ways he could never have imagined. As he prepared for yet another briefing on human affairs, Klex paused to look out at the stars. The galaxy sparkled before him, vast and full of possibilities. And at the center of it all, a small blue-green world that had changed everything. The death of a single human had indeed sparked a revolution, but not the one anyone had expected. Instead of war and destruction, it had brought understanding and growth. The galaxy had been shaken out of its complacency, forced to confront its own assumptions and limitations. And humanity, those strange, wonderful, terrifying creatures, stood at the heart of it all. Ready to explore, to create, to connect, and yes, if necessary, to fight. But always, always surprising. Klex smiled to himself. The future, he realized, was going to be very interesting indeed.